Hey, what's up, guys? This is MJ, and today we got to talk about Ford CEO Jim Farley pouring water all over 2035 EV mandates. This is an article on FordAuthority.com. I'll put the link in the description if you want to read the whole thing. But let's just go ahead and sum this up. It looks like there was a mandate in the UK for zero emissions, and that was supposed to start in 2035. Ford had previously supported this, but now it looks like CEO Jim Farley is not so sure. He is saying that, look, some people, they might need a Transit, which I believe that's an EV that Ford makes. And he's saying sometimes you might need a F-150. Like if you're in the US and you're a rancher, electric is not a really good option for people that need those type of vehicles. Here, this is exactly what he said. There are no certainties in our industry. I've heard this stuff 1,000 times. Every car is going electric. Every car is going hydrogen. Every car is going diesel. There have been a lot of blind alleys. Most of our lowered emission standards are achieved by fleets, so I believe we can still sell some special cars if the fleet business is strong. Ford, they recently announced that they lost a ton of money so far on EVs. They lose a lot of money with every EV that they sell. Like some were saying it's up to as much as $100,000 they lose every time they sell some of these EVs. So that is not good. We can't have that. And in another article from Ford Authority that I'm going to share with you, they have debuted a new freedom of choice ad campaign, and we're going to look at that video. Let's check this out. All right, so here we go with the Ford freedom of choice ad campaign.
There's no one way to power up, as long as Ford is your starting line.
So Ford has EVs. Obviously, they got an EV pickup truck, the Ford Lightning. I believe they have a EV Transit, and they have hybrids also. So they have hybrids, gas cars, and EVs.
Because more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it. Gas, hybrid, or all electric, the power is yours.
Ford is trying to say that the choice is yours as far as which type of vehicle you want. The Biden administration, they had some pretty strong EV mandates that were planned, but then they changed them a little bit recently. They did a slick little thing where they kind of changed the language a little bit. They said, first they were saying you had to sell a certain amount of EVs, but now they're saying they have to be electrified vehicles, meaning they could also be hybrids or plug-in hybrids. And that is a slick use of the language. Usually they like to change the language to fit their paradigms that don't work at all. But this time they had the language changed on them. And I don't think people that like EVs are happy about that at all. But all right, so let's look at the article real quick. The article states a few years ago, Ford seemingly went all in on electric vehicles, announcing its plan to build a number of new production facilities, retool others, and invest huge money with the goal of vastly expanding its lineup in that regard. However, the market has changed as of late, with demand for EVs tapering off, signaling that many consumers aren't ready to take that particular plunge just yet. Thus, Ford has changed its own strategy. So, the first ad spot, called Starting Line, debuted during the past weekend's NCAA Final Four, and it's narrated yet again by actor Bryan Cranston. Is that the guy from Breaking Bad? I think so. There's no one way to power up, Cranston notes, adding, as long as Ford is your starting line, because more important than the power you choose is what you choose to do with it. Gas, hybrid, or all electric, the power is yours. Yes, I could not agree more with Ford's take on this. Let people choose the vehicle that they want to drive, period. The car is the most expensive thing that some people ever buy. And for most people, it's the second most expensive thing they ever buy next to their house. So you're not going to be able to guilt trip people into buying cars. You're not going to be able to mandate people into buying electric cars, especially in America. I mean, you could try that in Europe or China or even California, but the rest of America, they're not going to do what they don't want to do, period. People in America are very independent and they're not going to be forced into buying something that they don't want to buy. I know people online, they like to say, oh, well, you're not accepting the future. This is just like when CDs came out and they replaced vinyl, and then MP3 players came out. And, you're just like somebody who wants a vinyl record now. But I remember when CDs came out, and I remember when iPods and MP3 players came out. And you know what? No one had to force people to buy them. Nobody had to mandate them. And you definitely didn't need to give cash incentives in order for people to buy them. They were more expensive, they were better, so people wanted them. Okay. Even the fact that they were more expensive didn't stop people because they were so much better. And people have to come to the realization that EVs are not as good as ICE engines, and they are definitely not as good as plug-in hybrids and hybrids. I mean, it's not even close. Because when you look at the car, you don't just look at, is this car better than that car? You also have to look at the fuel. Gasoline is a much more convenient and quick way to fill up your car than charging is. I mean, you can't get around that. I don't have to wait 30, 40 minutes for my car to fill up with gasoline. So it's not even close. I think that, you know what, if you like gasoline powered vehicles, you don't have to even say like EVs aren't ready yet. The transition is not ready to happen because that's making it seem like it's inevitable. And it's not inevitable. I think that sometimes when people try to force you into do something, they try to make it seem like, look, this is going to happen. You might as well just let it happen. But you know what? It doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to ever happen, ever. You are afraid of global warming, then you know what? You could find a better way to cool off the planet than me buying a electric car. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. Ford, they know what they're doing with the hybrids. I think that things will be fine, and I think that freedom of choice will win out, especially in the US. So anyway, what do you guys think about this? Do you think that we should be mandated to buy electric cars, even though they are not as good as ICE and plug-in hybrids? Do you think that people should have the freedom of choice to buy whatever car that they feel is appropriate for their life? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for tuning in and have a good one.